Good morning, sir. Good morning, ma. I'm here to make presentation on renewable energy in rural economy Nigeria. What's renewable energy? Renewable energy is the energy gotten from various natural resources like the sun, the wind, the biomass, and these natural resources are converted to electricity using various machinery devices. Rural areas are remote villages, mostly tied to undeveloped part of the country where there is low level of education, unemployment, bad roads, or no access to electricity. And we all know that in any developed country, um, energy is the backbone, and any economic development is a significant concern in any developing country. However, Nigeria, a developing country, pushes to establish and maintain level of development, but to fast track this development, there is need for an adequate supply of electricity. And electricity supply in the country is not sufficient. Country in Nigeria is not sufficient. It favours the city with about 80% available mostly to households. Most populated in Nigeria are rural dwellers. I mean, they stay in rural areas, and rural areas that supply the supply of electricity and the one connected to the grid are not effectively supply the supply broad hours spanning to 20 hours a day. What my previous statement? Previous statement, the electricity situation in Nigeria has always been a mystery. With the huge deposit of resources in Nigeria, energy deprivation still over around the country. But the previous statement is what is the effect of renewable energy in rural economy? Now, the aim and objective, my aim is to study a review of the relationship of renewable energy to rural economy development and how renewable energy impact the development of remote areas. The objective is to study a review of relation between the economic growth and renewable energy, to study the factors that necessitate the development of renewable energy in rural areas, to study the challenges or barriers in renewable energy. Literature review. There have been growing attention both in academics, both in research and on the field in renewable energy. With short history of renewable energy, literature has studied the relationship between renewable energy and economic growth. Most researchers has used two variables, which is the consumption of renewable energy as the independent source, and the GDP, which is the draw democratic the GDP as the dependent variable to examine the terms of economic growth. In some work, in some research, there has not been seen a trusted relationship between the impact of renewable energy on the economy, while some studies discover a positive effect while others debate on the negative consequences of renewable energy. In the next page, you see a table indicating the various reviews. One, we see using the consumption of renewable energy and the GDP as the variables. The researchers saw a positive impact on the economy using ginger test. The next review on ALDL method. Using ALD method with the same independent variable and same independent variable. The independent variable we are seeing here is energy consumption of non-conventional sources, and non-conventional sources are also called renewable energy. This research was carried out in Turkey, and they saw a negative impact on the economy. The next review saw a positive impact on the economy using a unit use test method with the same variable, the independent variable and the dependent variable. The next review saw was carried out in January, and the positive impact on the economy was discovered using ginger test using time series with the same variables. And a research was done in 38 different countries, and using the same independent and dependent variable, they saw a positive impact on the economy. And the method used in this year was called the panel scale. When I see in the European countries using the same independent and dependent variable, we saw a positive impact on the economy. But a research was carried out in the United States by Payne 2009, where they used the independent and dependent variable, and they saw no impact on the economy using times the casualty test as a method. And the study was carried out in sub-Saharan Africa using biomass as the independent variable, use the biomass as the independent variable, and the GDP as the dependent variable, and there was a positive impact on the economy. Now, what are the uses of renewable energy that help in development of rural area? About electrification. Electrification is more like lighting up a community, lighting up a village, and with all these projects or with all these projects done, I'll just pick out of everything I've read just one that like in India, a project called remote education, where a total of 4,250 rural areas and 1,160 small villages was supplied with renewable energy as early as 2009. That means they saw the importance of renewable energy to the economy of the country. And so you will see, as a result of that, there was an increase in development in that place. Other uses of renewable energy that help in development in rural areas, we have the water scheme, we have the healthcare, we cannot downgrade the health sector, the very important and very vital sector in the country. And there has to be a 24-hour supply of electricity. And we have the agricultural sector also. The next we are seeing the factor that hinder renewable energy. We have the policy making, we have the financing, we have the investment, we have the environmental factor, and so on. There are so many factors that hinder renewable energy. Let's see some few. The financial and investing. The initial cost for renewable energy is on the high side. Investors are not easily drawn by renewable energy if they don't make much profit in selling the electricity produced. Right now, we can see a typical hydropower cost about 1,300 USD. We can know, converting it to naira, we can know how much that will be cost now. And there is no active manufacturing renewable technology in the country. And there is no motivation, financial motivation. There is no motivation being drawn from the government. There is no motivation being drawn from somewhere else. There is no sufficient financial motivation. Mother entity will be difficult, because there is no financial motivation. Mother entity will be difficult. Now, here to the next factor that hinder renewable energy, we have the deficiency of awareness and information. The lack of awareness, understanding among customers. They don't understand the use of this renewable energy in the use of this renewable energy in the community. The lack of awareness, the deficiency of knowledge of renewable energy in Nigeria among the citizens and government, the lack of knowledge that creates a distortion that leads to a high risk of possible project. Lack of information of data. For instance, we want to establish a solar plant here. You don't know the soil radiation. There is no data for that. Or you want to establish a wind farm here. There is no data for there is no sufficient data for the wind speed that is available in this place. So these are factors that hinder renewable energy, and a lot more, a lot more. And in conclusion, I would say that seeing the need for accessibility of energy is a vital requirement for real economic development and enhancing the standard of living for people. As we can see that energy is the backbone of any developing country. So I mean, and technology thrives on energy. So without energy, there is no technology. And we know that it is now worthy to know the extent to which the energy demand is met for rural areas, with exponential increase and affect the growth of the economy and the standard of living, and also help the crime reduce crime rate. If the energy is there, there are jobs, and if there are jobs, the unemployment reduces and crime rate reduces. So it's therefore essential to assess sustainable ways to attend to the energy demand, which has been discussed in this paper. It can be seen that the economic growth of rural community is more dependent on the availability of electricity. Thank you very much for listening. These are my contact.